Total Archery Challenge 2021. I made one of these videos last year. Looking back, the video quality is kind of subpar. I think I've gotten a little better with the camera and specifically with videos. Now, at the time I'm making this video, it's mid-June, so a whole bunch of Total Archery Challenge events have already happened. I'm still gearing up for the Montana shoot. But anyway, gear. Now, when you get to Archery Village, which is the little base camp at the bottom of the mountain at every Total Archery Challenge event, you're gonna see guys geared up really on like the whole spectrum of what you could bring to an event like this. Now, at its basic root, if you were to kind of like common denominator, what is the very basic items you need to shoot a Total Archery Challenge event? Think about it this way. Imagine you are going to hike 3 or 4 miles to the range. It's going to be in the mountains, in the woods, right? And you're going to be shooting targets at 100, 120 yards, right? And then hike back. If you kind of go through that mindset and what you would need to do that in your head, that's what you're going to need for this event. So as I go through my list, understand that you don't need exactly what I'm bringing. You don't need some of the Gucci kit and stuff like that. And also understand that you're going to see guys with probably way less equipment and probably more equipment than you, just depending on what you want to bring. So you'll see everything from guys running just hip quivers and a Nalgene bottle with their bow to guys in full 3-day rigs with their load-bearing packs and the whole gamut. And that's fine. This is a fun shoot. Run it however you want. This is a great event for testing out some of that gear that maybe you're like an East Coast guy and you're getting ready for a hunt out west and you've never been out west but you're signed up for one of these events. This is a great opportunity to really ring out and test and fine-tune some of those setups, like backpacks that you probably don't use on a regular basis, boots, clothing, things like that. So run this event however you want to. It's a fun shoot. No one's going to judge you. If they do, those guys. Have a good time. That's the name of the game. As far as me, let's get into it. I'll go kind of base layers to bows and everything in between. Clothing wise, I keep it pretty simple. I dress for the weather, right? So for me, I'll either be wearing lightweight pants or shorts. There's usually some minor bushwhacking on most courses every year. So if you're somebody that doesn't like a whole bunch of sticks hitting you in the shins, right? Maybe steer away from shorts, but dress for your weather. I'm going to be wearing some lightweight pants. In the past, I've worn stuff from Prana, Sitka, First Light. These right here are the Tenacity pants from Numa Outdoors. I'm probably not going to run the knee pads, but maybe depending on the weather, I will. There's usually 1 or 2 shots on every course where it actually pays to take the shot from your knees because there's some low-lying branches, and depending on your arrow's arc, you may need to get a little lower to clear those. So we'll see about that. Probably not going to bring them, or I'll throw them in my pack if I do. But they did come in handy for turkey season this year, I will say that. So pants, keep it nice and lightweight. I'm going to be shooting this event in the summertime. Shirt-wise, whatever top you're going to be comfortable in. So you want to wear something more technical, you can. I'm usually just wearing whatever logo tee I feel like repping that particular day. So today it's half rack, and then I'm always going to be wearing a hat because it gets sunny outside and I don't like shooting with sunglasses. But that really covers base layers or just clothing in general. Boots wise, this cannot be overstated. Get yourself a good pair of boots, especially if you're a guy from the East Coast and you're not used to hiking around the mountains a lot. Invest in a good pair of boots. These are Crispy Crossover GTXs. I believe these are actually on sale. I'm not sure if they're being discontinued or not, but Crispy's actually got a sale on this particular model. I've had these boots for 3 years. They're just now starting to wear down on the lugs. But other than swapping out the insoles every year just to keep them fresh, I haven't had to do anything to these boots. They've broken in great. They've just been really comfortable boots. There's a lot of good comfortable boots. If you're looking for particular brands, I know a whole bunch of our guys that have run Crispies and nobody has had anything bad to say about them. So I trust the Italians when it comes to good quality mountaineering boots. They've been doing it longer than anybody. So I can't speak to any other particular brands because I don't have a whole ton of experience with them, but I can say that of the 4 or 5 guys that I hunt with and shoot with regularly, we're all rocking Crispies and nobody has been disappointed by them yet. So these are the crossover GTXs. Also, I know guys running the Colorados, the Thors, and some of the newer lower profile ones, and like I said, no one's had anything bad to say. Don't skimp on boots. Remember that you're going to be hiking mostly, you're taking a lift up to the top of the mountain, and then you're going to be hiking mostly down. So if your boots aren't fit correctly, you're just going to be slamming your toes into the front of those boots, and you're going to be pretty sore by the end of the day. As far as any other clothing or anything like that, you'll see, we'll get into the backpack, but you see my backpack's pretty empty. I'll usually throw a sweatshirt or a rain jacket or both, something light in there. So I always keep, this is a Sitka, this is a quarter zip pullover. I just have it kind of stuffed into the actual hood of the jacket. I don't know if they even make this anymore, but this is just a super lightweight rain jacket that I've just had over the years. It's just extremely lightweight. I can throw it on over whatever I'm wearing. It's just a quarter zip. So just really lightweight. It packs into the hood, and then I can just throw it in my backpack. It doesn't take up any space. So I'll keep that in here. I could definitely get away with running a smaller backpack. You'll notice that this thing's pretty much empty, and I have it semi-compressed with the compression straps. I just like having a medium-sized pack, one, because this is what I run for hunting. You'll notice it's the same Quattro shape charge that I did a video of after whitetail season that I ran most of last year. The only difference is I removed the Sherman pocket that I had on the outside because I mostly use that for my hang and hunt setup, and I just don't need that extra space for Total Archery Challenge. And that's the nice thing with Quattro packs, is they are really modular. So I removed that Sherman pocket, save some weight, save some size, cinch it down with the compression straps, and I have enough room in this pack that if I want to bring some extra camera stuff, lenses and whatnot, or if I pick up something in Archery Village, I can throw it in here and it's not going to be a pain in the butt to carry around all day. As far as what else I have in the actual pack, I guess I'm going backwards, but I'll go from inside to outside. There's some molly panels on the inside of the shape charge, and I'll usually just clip one of my multi-tools in there. This is a Leatherman multi-tool. So this is just a good all-around tool. And then I also, just like during hunting season, I keep my little bow emergency survival kit slash kill kit just in one of these Magpul DACA pouches that I have in one of the zip pockets at the bottom of the pack. Other than that, the only other thing I really have in the pack at all times is I keep a little dry bag. This is from Numa. It's just a little dry bag that unclips, and I can just throw some more fragile things in there, so I can actually fit my entire camera and case in this little dry bag if it's really starts to downpour and I'm out in like the middle of the field shooting the course or something like that, and I can't get to cover really quick or something. So I'll keep that in there as well. Other than that, the pack on the inside, pretty barren. Moving along to the outside, little zip pockets in here, right? I'll keep phone, wallet, whatnot. Nothing else crazy. As far as water, I don't have it here on the pack, but I always have at least one Nalgene or a 2 or 3 liter bladder on the inside. I've been moving more towards the Nalgene bottles just so I can more easily monitor how much fluid I'm taking in. That's just something that I'm starting to do in general. But one thing that I've learned over the last couple years is especially if you're somebody that's not used to the elevation, or you're not used to just being out in the elements for long periods of time, definitely you want to mix something into your water. So I either use these liquid IVs or some sort of electrolyte powder like Onnit or one of those other reputable supplement brands. Mix that into your water because it'll just help hydrate you better. When you're out and you're in the heat and you're in the elements and you're just sweating a lot, if you're just drinking water, that'll actually just flush you out more. So adding just a little bit of additive to your water just helps your body retain that more. You'll stay hydrated and you'll be able to focus just a little bit easier. That's something that somebody told me many years ago when I was working construction, and I was too young and dumb to listen to them, but I've really started to feel the difference when I've been doing that, even just exercising lately. So I'd highly recommend that. I've also got some Black Rifle Coffee instant mix in there, and then I'll usually keep some other snacks, RX bars, Boyke's Biltong, Bobo bars, whatever your snack of choice. Wet wipes, because you always want wet wipes. Never travel without them. that about covers everything in the pack. On the side of the sides of the pack, right? I'll probably throw 2 or 3 extra arrows in the side of the pack and just have them sit in between the compression strap and my water bottle pocket as well. On the left side of my pack, I like to keep this clean. I used to have this tethered his strap, or his pouch, sorry, on this side, but I found that shooting at steep angles and just walking around in general, I didn't like having it on the left side of my body. Reason being, I don't want to risk my bowstrings or cables or anything getting mixed up with any straps or anything like that. So I like keeping the left side of my body clean. Also, when I'm walking around, I tend to keep my bow in my left hand, so as it's dangling there, I don't want a whole bunch of stuff dangling around next to it, clanking around and whatnot. So this tethered his strap, which I used last year for hunting, kept a lot of my straps and whatnot in there. I just moved it over to the right side, and I'm going to again be using it for Total Archery Challenge. There's these pockets on the exterior. There are also interior pockets that mirror it, and in each of those pockets, right, I'll keep releases. So I'll bring 2 releases. If you don't have 2 releases, it's not a big deal. I just like having a backup. So I've got my B3 Omega Pro here. I will be doing a review on this soon, I promise. I know you guys have been asking for it. And my Carter Knock to it here as well. And I've got Quota pegs on both of those. And then in the same pouch, I'll also have my rangefinder. I'm running the new Leupold RX4 this year. This has the Archer's Advantage software built into it, as well as a little indicator to give you your max height of your arrow in flight. So I've been playing around with this for the last couple of months. The angle compensation is phenomenal. You plug in a couple of numbers that you just get off of your bow setup, and it will compensate the angle of the shots based on that setup, and also give you a little line indicator for your max height of your arrow in its trajectory. So pretty cool. I can definitely see that coming in handy for tack, where typically there's at least a couple of shots on each course where there are branches that are in that perfect elevation to grab a couple of arrows mid-flight. So and speaking of that, because of shots like that, it really pays to have a set of binos. Now, I know bino cases and chest rigs have become all the rage the last couple of years. I'm a big fan of them myself, but I've just found as I start to downsize some of my kit and just really taking stock of what is necessary, what do I use, and what do I not use, and where can I save some space, I've gotten away from using chest rigs, and I've gone to just a really kind of ultralight setup. This is, I believe it's a Rick Young Outdoors little harness system. It's basically just a bungee system that just quick clips to the binoculars. So just really simple right there. I believe I got this from Maven Optics. I'm sure they sell them other places, but this is just a super lightweight system. I can just easily throw this on. It doesn't take up a whole bunch of space. When it's hot out, you know, it's not making me sweat any more than I need to. It just keeps them nice and tight to my body. The only downside is when you're leaning over and things like that, or running, they do tend to bounce a little bit. So that is the one downside. And of course, they don't protect your lenses as much as a fully encased bino harness, like say an Alaska Guy Creations or Marsupial Gear or one of those other full capture bino harnesses would. So that about covers my pack and clothing. Bow. As far as the bow, so as far as which rig I'm going to be running this year, I am not sure between the Expedite or the EVL. I still haven't made a decision. I've been having a lot of fun shooting the EVL lately, but as far as this particular setup goes with the sight and arrow combination that I'm running, I'm just barely getting enough clearance to shoot at 100 yards and a little bit beyond that. I'm running a 450-ish grain arrow right now. I've been shooting these new Axis long range with the 55 grain titanium half outs and 125 grain points, and then I have a KOTA wrap, which we will be selling soon on the website. So definitely, if you're not following us on Instagram, I'll have that posted up as soon as we do. And on these particular arrows, I'm running the brand new Bully Veins from Easton. You guys know I've been a fan of the Bully Veins since they came out last year. They're now manufactured by Boning. So their profile, they were a little different before, but now they're the exact same profile as the Boning Blazer vanes, but the material's a little different. And I found shooting these through targets and missing targets at distance that this vane material definitely retains its shape better than either the Blazers or the previous versions of the Bully vane. It just seems that even when I've forgotten an arrow in a target, so these vanes were completely squished for more than a day, and when I pulled this out of a target 2 days later, they returned to normal, and I can't even tell which of my arrows I had that happen to. So this is my particular arrow setup. Nice lightweight. I've liked the way that these have tracked in the wind so far, so I'm going to continue running them for tack, and I have another dozen that I'm going to try and get in and fletch up soon. As far as how many arrows you should take, that's a question that I get a lot. It really depends on your skill level and how much you plan on missing. So I've seen guys go up to the mountain with 5 arrows that are all different and a fixed pin sight, and they come away with most of their arrows. And then I've seen guys roll up to the mountain with 24 arrows and come down with single digits. So it really depends on your skill level, how confident you are. I would always say, when in doubt, bring more arrows, right? It's not like these things have an expiration date to them. So if you go through all of Total Archery Challenge and you don't bust any or lose any, you can still use those arrows. They don't go bad. So if you're concerned, if it's your first shoot, right, fletch up 24, bring them with you. I know it's expensive, but like I said, they're not going to fall apart after Total Archery Challenge. You can continue to use them for the next 2-3 years, however long that many arrows last. And personally, I always like having more arrows anyway, because whenever I have just a dozen, it seems to creep into my head anytime I have a miss, like, oh, I only have 11 arrows left. Oh, I only have 10 arrows left. Oh, I hope I didn't ding that one. Now I only have 9 arrows left. And before you know it, you're at the season and you've got 4 good arrows that are your killer arrows, and you're hesitant to even take a shot because you don't want to lose another expensive arrow. So I would say just invest in 24 arrows now and bring them to Total Archery Challenge. You know, bring a dozen with you on each course if you're somebody that's concerned. If not, myself, based on my previous year's performances, I am averaging probably 1 whiff or 1 busted arrow every single course. Now, I have dinged up a couple because some of the targets in years past have had like rebar in them to reinforce the foam target, and I have dented up points and inserts on those targets. So I like having some extras, but I'll probably bring a full 5 arrow quiver and then throw another 2-3 in my backpack just in case. Plus, you guys know, weird stuff happens when you're in the woods, right? So God forbid, if you're somebody that likes to shoot with your quiver on, you trip and fall, you fall on your quiver, you bust all your arrows, right? It pays to just have a couple in your backpack just in case something like that happens. But as far as bow setup, right, I'm running just exactly what I'm planning on running for hunting season. The one thing that you want to make sure is that you have a setup that can reach out and hit targets at 100, 120 yards, right? So that's what some of the courses are going to have. So the important thing is you don't need a specific setup or a specific set of components, but it would definitely pay to have a slider sight, and it would definitely pay to set it up so that you have enough clearance to hit those further targets. So you're probably going to want something shooting in the 280 feet per second plus range. And if you can get a smaller diameter arrow for those longer shots, especially for those western shoots, those crosswinds will play hell with your arrow flight. That being said, I did shoot last year's Total Archery Challenge with those Easton Bowhunter 6.5s, which are a 6.5 diameter arrow, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't feel like those arrows held me back at all. That was actually the best that I've ever shot a Total Archery Challenge course, and I shot 2 or 3 courses in Utah last year. So yeah, still remains to be seen whether or not I want to go with the EVL, which has just been really forgiving for me, or I want that wind-cutting, blistering speed that the Expedite offers, so I can sneak underneath those sneaky branches and just plug targets with Thor's hammer back there. So still not sure which bow I'm going to set up, but you guys will know when I know. And then as far as everything else, right, traveling with a bow, I made a video about that, so I'll have that linked above if you haven't seen that already. I did get a new bow case for this year. I got the new bow truck from Easton. I haven't flown with it yet, so it's still too early to do a review. Let me get that out, actually. So this is the new bow truck bow case from Easton. If you guys haven't seen this already, it's enormous. So there's actually enough room in here that I could fit both of my bows, so I may not have to choose whether I want to bring the Expedite or the EVL. I might be able to just bring both, but there's enough room in this case that I could fit both bows and all of my clothes that I'm going to need for the weekend. I'm definitely going to be over the weight limit, but the nice thing about this case is that compared to the previous Easton bow cases, you don't need a cover for it, so they spared no expense when it comes to the material. They actually use the same material that a lot of high-end, ultra high-end luggage companies use in their luggage designs. So the zippers, everything from the zippers to the material to the clips are all as high-end as you can possibly get. So with that, you don't need an external case. So I'm interested to see how this thing holds up. I'm going to be flying to TAC with it, so if you guys follow on Instagram and you see me get off the plane and I'm crying in my live feed, you'll know why. So, but I expect this thing to hold up just fine, and I'm excited. I like the discreet nature. It just looks like a travel case. There's nothing about this that screams, I'm a bow hunter. If you've ever traveled or flown with either guns or archery equipment or hunting gear in general, you know that that gear tends to take an extra bit of punishment. Something about some of those TSA guys, I don't know what it is, but apparently they don't like hunters. But anyway, guys, that's it. That is my Total Archery Challenge 2021 gear list. I'm pretty sure I covered everything, at least everything I'm planning on bringing. So if you guys are going to be at Montana, I'll be shooting the Sitka course on Friday morning, and then I'm not sure what courses I'm going to be shooting after that. But I'll be around all weekend, so definitely say hi if you see me. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the mountain. If you're shooting any of the other Total Archery Challenge events, have fun, enjoy yourself, and don't worry about lost arrows. It's going to happen. It's all part of the game. But take lots of pictures. You'll remember it, and enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the mountain.